A man named Lamborghini was shocked to discover that the clutch inside a Ferrari sports car was exactly the same as the cheap clutch used in his own tractors. He immediately sought out Ferrari founder Enzo Ferrari and sincerely pointed out the flaws in the clutch design. At the same time, he proposed working together to create a high-performance clutch system. But as the godfather of the racing world, Enzo Ferrari looked down on this farmer who merely built tractors.
Go back to your tractors, farmer.
The mocking tone instantly ignited Lamborghini's anger. Deep down, he swore to himself. Since Ferrari refused to cooperate with him, he would build a car that even Ferrari could never outrun. From that moment on, one of the most legendary rivalries in sports car history officially began. The man's full name was Ferruccio Lamborghini. He was born into a farming family in Italy, where generations had worked the land, but he refused to spend his entire life guarding a farm. At that time, agriculture in Italy was booming, and the demand for tractors was growing rapidly. Yet the only local tractor manufacturer sold machines that were expensive, oversized, and consumed huge amounts of fuel. Ferruccio came up with an idea. He wanted to build a small, affordable tractor that ordinary families could actually afford. He quickly sought out a former wartime comrade who had once fought beside him. After hearing the idea, his friend immediately agreed to join him. One rainy day, Ferruccio went alone to the farm where his father worked. Standing before him, he was filled with guilt and struggled to find the right words. Fortunately, his father sensed his discomfort. Without saying much, he quietly sat beside him. His father had always been stubborn and rarely showed softness.
You want me to help? You need money? Yes.
But at that moment, he pulled out his wallet and stuffed all the money inside into his son's hands. Ferruccio told him it still wasn't enough. He explained his vision in full and promised that he would succeed, swearing to repay everything with interest. Looking into his son's determined eyes, the father, despite his tough exterior, finally handed over the land deed he treasured most. With the deed in hand, Ferruccio successfully secured a startup loan from the bank. As soon as the funds arrived, he and his friend founded a factory and worked day and night on research and development. Before long, the blueprint for their first engine lay on the table. They carefully analyzed the flaws of traditional engines and redesigned the system from the ground up. Their new engine was far smaller than the bulky machines on the market, yet far more powerful. But naturally, fuel consumption also increased. To solve this problem, Ferruccio came up with a brilliant solution, installing two fuel tanks on the engine, one for gasoline and one for cheap diesel fuel. The engine would start using gasoline, and once the exhaust pipe became hot enough, the gasoline supply would shut off. Then copper heating coils inside the diesel tank would vaporize the diesel fuel, sending it into the carburetor. The gasoline tank would clock out, and the diesel system would seamlessly take over. Just like that, a primitive hybrid power system was born. After hearing the idea, his friend's face instantly lit up with excitement. But money was tight, and they couldn't afford brand new parts. So the two men headed to the largest scrapyard in town to try their luck. Fortunately, the owner agreed to sell them parts as long as they could pay, at an incredibly low price. They bought an old car, hauled it back to the factory, and immediately began dismantling and modifying it. They removed every unnecessary external component, shrunk the engine to its smallest possible